Good afternoon. My name is Walter Richards, and I'm going to talk to you about global warming. Is it serious? Is it really happening? Yes, it is happening. And there's facts that I'm going to prove that global warming is really happening today. And it is destroying the Earth's atmosphere and ozone, making the Earth hotter. What is global warming? Global warming is a current increase in temperatures of the Earth's surface, both the land and the water, as well as the atmosphere. Average temperatures around the world have risen 0.75 degrees, 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit, over the last 100 years. About two-thirds of the increase occurred since 1975. In the past, when the Earth's experienced increases in temperatures, it was a result of natural causes. Today is being caused by accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere produced by human activities. The natural greenhouse effect contains the Earth's temperature at a safe level, making it possible for humans and many other life forms to exist. However, since the Industrial Revolution, human activities are significantly increasing greenhouse effect, causing the Earth's average temperature to rise almost 1 degree Celsius. This is creating the global warming we see today. To put this increase in perspective, it is important to understand that during the last ice age, a period of massive climate change, the average temperature change around the globe was only about 5 degrees. A long series of science research and international studies has shown more than 90% certainty that increase in overall temperatures due to greenhouse gases produced by humans. Activities such as deforestation and burning of fossil fuels and maintaining sources of these emissions. These findings are recognized by the national science academies of the major industrialized countries. Global warming is affecting many places around the world. It is accelerating the melting of ice sheets, permafrost, and glaciers, which is causing average sea levels to rise 9 to 10 feet. It is also 9 to 10, or it also causing sea levels to rise. It also has changed precipitation and weather patterns in many different places, making some places drier. In many different places, making drier, with more intense periods of drought, and at the same time making the places wetter, with stronger storms, increased flooding. These changes have affected both nature as well as the human society and will continue to have increasingly worse effects if greenhouse gas emissions continue to grow at the same pace as today. Greenhouse gas emissions and enhanced greenhouse effect. Greenhouse gases produced both naturally and through human activities. Unfortunately, greenhouse gases generated by human activities are being added to the atmosphere at a much faster rate than the natural process can remove them. Global levels of greenhouse gases have increased dramatically since the dawn of industrial revolution in the 1750s. Only a small group of human activities are causing the concentration of the main greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases to rise. The majority of man-made carbon dioxide emissions from the burning of fossil fuels such as coal and oil that humans can power various vehicles, machinery, keep warm, and create electricity. Other important sources come from land use changes, deforestation, cutting down the trees, and industry. Methane is created by humans during fossil fuel production and use, livestock and rice farming, as well as landfills. Nitrous oxide emissions are mainly caused by the use of synthetic fertilizers for agriculture, fossil fuel combustion, and livestock manure management. The cause of global warming is increasing quantity of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere produced by human activities, like burning of fossil fuel or deforestation. These activities produce large amounts of greenhouse gas emissions, which is causing global warming. Greenhouse gases trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere to keep the planet warm enough to sustain life. The process is called the greenhouse effect. It is a natural process. Without these gases, the Earth would be too cold for humans, plants, or other creatures to live. The natural greenhouse effect exists due to the balance of the type of greenhouse gases. However, when abnormally high levels of these gases accumulate in the air, more heat starts getting trapped and leads to the enhancement of greenhouse effect. Human caused emissions have been increasing greenhouse levels with rising worldwide temperatures and driving to global warming. Fluorinated gases are used mainly in refrigeration, cooling, and manufacturing, such as your AC units, your vehicles, which all use coolant and refrigerant inside of those, which go into the atmosphere. Deforestation has become a massive undertaking by humans, and transforming forests into farms has a significant number of impacts as far as greenhouse gas emissions are concerned. For centuries, people have burned and cut down forests to clear land for agriculture. This is a double effect on the atmosphere, both emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and simultaneously reducing the number of trees that can remove carbon dioxide from the air. When forest land is cleared, soil disturbance and increased rates of decomposition is converted soils both create carbon dioxide emissions. These also increase soil erosion and nutrient leaching, which can further reduce the area's ability to act as a carbon sink. What are the effects of global warming, you ask? Global warming is damaging the Earth's climate as well as our physical environment. One of the most visible effects of global warming can be seen in the Arctic as glaciers, permafrost, and sea ice are melting rapidly. Global warming is harming the environment in several ways, including desertification, increased melting of snow and ice, sea level rise, stronger hurricanes and cyclones. Increasing temperatures around the world are making arid and semi-arid areas even more dry than before. Current research is also showing that the water cycle is changing and rainfall patterns are shifting to make the areas already dry even drier. This is causing water shortages. For example, look at California. They're in a drought, been in a drought for 5 years now. This less than 2.5 people in dry regions which are degrading into a desert. This process is called desertification. Increased melting of snow and ice. Around the world, snow and ice is melting at a much faster pace than in the past. This has been seen in the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa, but is particularly true at the Earth's poles. Perennial ice over the Arctic is melting at the rate of 11.5% per decade, and the thickness of the Arctic has decreased by 48% since the 1960s. During the past 30 years, more than 1 million square miles of sea ice has vanished and are equivalent to the size of Norway, Denmark, Sweden combined. The continent of Antarctica has been losing more than 100 cubic kilometers, 24 cubic miles of ice per year since 2002. Since 2002, the Antarctic ice melt rate has doubled. The Earth's sea level has risen by 21 centimeters, 8 inches since 1880. The rate of rise is accelerating and now at a pace that has not been seen for at least 5,000 years. Global warming has caused this by affecting the oceans in two ways. Warmer average temperatures cause ocean waters to expand, thermal expansion, and the accelerated melting of ice and glaciers increase the amount of water in the oceans. Stronger hurricanes and cyclones. Tropical cyclone activity has seen an obvious upswing since the early 1970s. Interestingly, this matches directly with an observed rise in the ocean's temperature over the same period of time. Since then, the Power Dissipation Index, which measures the destructive power of tropical cyclones, has increased in the Pacific by 35%. In the Atlantic, it has only nearly doubled. Global warming also increases the frequency of strong cyclones. Every 1 degree Celsius increase in sea surface temperatures results in a 31% increase in the global frequency of a Category 4 and 5 storms. The Earth's atmosphere has changed throughout history. Just the last 650,000 years, there have been several cycles of glacier advance and retreat, with the abrupt end of the last ice age about 7,000 years ago, making the beginning of the modern climate era. in human civilization. Most of these climate changes are attributed to very small variations in the Earth's orbit to change the amount of solar energy our planet receives. The current warming trend is of particular significance because most of it is very likely human induced and proceeding at a rate that is unprecedented in the past 1,300 years. Earth orbiting satellites and other technologies have enabled scientists to see the big picture, collecting many different types of information about our planet and the climate on a global scale. This body of data collected over many years reveals a signaling of change. And I'd like to show you a increase of the carbon dioxide in our ozone, which is right here. As you can see, the increase where we are right now. In over 6,500 years, we have never gone over the line before, but now we are way saturated over the line, causing more damage to the Earth. The heat trapping nature of carbon dioxide and other gases was demonstrated in the mid-19th century. The ability to affect the transfer of infrared energy through the atmosphere and the scientific basis of many the ability to affect the transfer of infrared energy to the atmosphere is basically instruments flown by NASA. There is no question that increased levels of greenhouse gases must cause the Earth to warm in response. Ice cores drawn from Greenland, Antarctica, and tropical mountain glaciers show that the Earth's climate responds to changes. They also show that the past large changes in the climate have been very quickly, geologically speaking, in tens of years, not in millions or even thousands. Which explains that we are causing more problems with automobiles, electric carbon monoxide, burning coal in electric plants. We are destroying, human beings are destroying the Earth. And as you can see on the next slide, I'm going to show you global sea level rose about 17 meters, 6.7 in the last century. The rate in which a decade, however, is nearly double that of the last century. And here's an example of our sea levels. As our oceans are filling up with water from the glaciers melting, it is going to cause a flooding effect to the world. Global temperature rise. All three major global surface temperature reconstructions show that the Earth has warmed since 1880. Most of this warming has occurred since the 1970s, with the 20 warmest years having occurred since 1981, with all the 10 of the warmest occurring in the past 12 years. Even though the 2000s witnessed a solar output decline, resulting in an unusually deep solar minimum in 2007 to 2009, surface temperatures continue to increase. Warming oceans. The oceans have absorbed much of this increased heat, with the top 700 meters, about 2,300 feet of ocean showing warming of 0.302 degrees Fahrenheit in 1969. Declining in the Arctic ice. Both the extent and thickness of the Arctic ice has declined rapidly over the last several decades. And that concludes my brief. People, we need to start taking care of our Earth, or the Earth is not going to be here. The Earth will burn up in the atmosphere. It's getting hot. The Earth is getting hot. The sun is getting hotter. And that's why we're living the evolution of heat. And we need to figure out how we can not drive vehicles, come up with other solutions of vehicles, because global warming is for real. And the Earth is going to burn up if we do not fix this. Not just United States wise, this has to be done worldwide to stop the pollution, burning up the ozone layers. And we have to do this as a whole, not just one country trying to fix problems that is only a little solution to what we've done to the ozone at this point. Thank you for listening to my facts and story on global warming. It is scary.